So let's bring in Robert O'Brien, former national security advisor under President Trump. Always good to see you, Robert. Thank you very much for being here. You know, one of the things that struck me in Vladimir Putin's statement, because now it's in his court to some extent, and then what the U.S. might press him with. But he said in that speech that he wanted long-term peace and he wanted to eliminate the original roots of the crisis, Robert. And we know that he believes that the original roots of the crisis is that he needed to demilitarize and denazify, as he kept saying, Ukraine. So what does he mean by eliminating the original roots of this crisis as part of his negotiation that is not negotiable?
Right. So thank you for having me, Martha. Look, he's having the same reaction that Zelensky had when Zelensky was, President Trump wanted to bring him to the table. So Zelensky resisted. Now Putin's resisting. Now Trump dealt with Zelensky in Ukraine and got Ukraine to the table. Now Russia's resisting, and President Trump, as you pointed out, Martha, in your opening, we've got significant tools against Russia, sanctions on the Russian Federation Central Bank, converting their currency reserves that are in Europe, cutting off the oil, which has already started to happen, the oil sales to Europe. So now for everyone who said that he was too tough, Trump was too tough on Zelensky, now are they going to come out and say he's being too tough on Putin? He's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's using the tools of a mediator and a negotiator to bring the parties to the table and get this war settled once and for all.
So I guess that has been the question until this point, and I think we're starting to see it in what you're saying. Putin invaded Ukraine. They on three sides, rolled in with tanks, and then they rolled into the country with the intention of taking the country over. So how will we see Russia have to pay for that as part of this negotiation? Because, Putin thinks that Ukraine should be his anyway. He didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, well, he knows he did something wrong. He tried to, change the borders of a European country with the use of force, and that hasn't happened since 1938, since Hitler. Yeah, right. So he knows he's in the wrong. But again, all these things are going to get worked out. How much they're going to have to pay, if anything, that'll all get worked out at the negotiating table. But again, he's trying to pre-negotiate. He's trying to work the refs, work Trump as the ref before they go to the table. It's not going to work. And if he resists coming to the table, he's going to have a real significant price to pay, and he knows that. And look, Zelensky found out the same thing last week. So again, this is Trump as the deal maker. I mean, this is classic art of the deal, putting pressure on one side, putting pressure on the other side, bringing him to the table, and I'm convinced that President Trump is going to get us a deal and end this war and be a peacemaker.
Fascinating. The way you lay it out. We're now seeing the pressure going on to Putin from the White House. And so interesting that none of this happens without Washington and without the president. Putin said that himself, that he needed to hear from Washington. Robert O'Brien, it's always a pleasure to see you, sir. Thank you so much for joining me today. Good to see you.